Hey, what is going on, YouTubers? Still not feeling like striving that hard to get some shit done. Nevertheless, I suppose something they just tend to carry the label, such a label of it's now or never. So beginning to sense an increasingly tense atmosphere, and beginning to sense an increasingly tense atmosphere around me. I fear I may not have that much of a time, making even with continuing to produce contents on YouTube. It's something. It's just now or never. So hence I like to resume reading and giving you guys my own reviews and my thoughts about this book in this filming session again. The Millionaire Fastlane. Crack the code to wealth and live rich for a lifetime. It's just for the sake of producing a decent looking thumbnail for this video. So hence I just like to show you guys the cover page of this book. And it's just that I may not have that much of time, and even when it comes to buying a fairly adequate book cover for this book, it cost me a great deal of time, not to just buy a crappy some sort of polyethane or methane book wrap, but it's already starting to get stripped off by itself or by gravity. I'm not sure why it just keeps it keeps getting stripped off by itself or by air or gravity. I don't know. I just nowadays I keep forgetting things over and over, and that's why I kind of thought that I might have gotten some sort of dementia induced or triggered by severe depression and anxiety. But nevertheless, I would hate to make this video another ranting or venting video. But instead, I want to make both your lives and my life more productive, more valuable by adding more values instead of squandering tons of time on complaining, on ranting and venting. So without further ado, I just like to read another chapter, read and give you guys my thoughts and reviews on this chapter based on my own personal experience of entrepreneurial undertaking throughout my late teens and my early throughout my whole 20s. Yeah. So I just like to let's begin this book club video by reading Fastlane or chapter 27 in my highly mutated and lousy British posh accent. So yeah, Fastlane 27. Change that dirty, stale oil. Education is what remains after one has forgotten everything he's learned in school. By Albert Einstein. Quite ironically, I have pretty much forgotten everything I learned in school. Not just in primary school, but also in secondary school and in high school. Nowadays I can't even I can't even write numbers legibly. I mean the Arabic numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 10, and whatnot. Education, so I suppose my memory loss of my of the education I underwent in my early years really has really begun to take its toll. Probably my brain or my mind has a highly limited storage capacity, so that's why nowadays I just keep forgetting things. I strive so hard to memorize, including but not limited to grammatical rules of English language and some quite common vocabularies. Not how I spelled the vocabularies, but instead probably also it occurred also because I tried so hard to make a radical switch of my accent from standard Chicago American accent to British Posh accent, aka South Londoners or South Englanders, South English accent. So it has really taken its toll, unfortunately. But regardless, let us resume. So change the oil every 3,000 miles. The first lesson of car ownership: change the oil every 3,000 miles. Neglect the lesson and your car dies well before its useful life. Frequent oil changes keep your car running efficiently. Unchanged oil goes stale and turns the ride rough. Rough rides stall to the shoulder of the road. The fastlane road trip demands fresh oil changes. But what is oil? Oil is education, knowledge, street smarts. But be careful. It must be the right oil and for the right purpose. Sidewalkers don't bother with oil. After 3,000 miles, they are done. Graduation is the last oil change. Slow liners oil their vehicles for the explicit purpose of raising intrinsic value. Advanced education and certifications, what's going to command a bigger salary? Fastlaners oil their vehicles until they hit the junkyard. Yeah, so just another side note here. I'm speaking of memory loss / supposedly depression induced dementia that I suspect has occurred to me myself. I just keep having another sort of obsession over the pronunciation of the verb, of the verb neglect on whether I should say it like neglect or neglect. But I keep and that keeps me looking up the dictionary over and over, from Cambridge Dictionary to Oxford. But sadly, Oxford Dictionary, it's paid, so I just don't want to spend some extra bucks on buying myself another Oxford printed Oxford dictionary, nor am I willing to pay some extra bucks for an online version of an Oxford dictionary. So I didn't actually check if my pronunciation, if the way I say and pronounce words aligns with the standard of British posh accent and whatnot. So why don't we just go back to the dictionary and see if it's actually if I hit the jackpot. Just need to check. Let's go to Cambridge Dictionary again just to see if I hit the jackpot. So what do we have? Neglect. Is it pronounced neglect or neglect or neglect?
Neglect.
Neglect, yes. According to Cambridge Dictionary, just let me show you here. Oops, excuse me. Yeah, here it goes. Neglect, but not sure about Collins Dictionary. Let's check. In US pronunciation, it's also neglect. This is okay.
Neglect.
Yes, it's E. It's not A nor the schwa sound. But in regard, let's resume. Graduation is not the end, it is the beginning. Face it, what you know today is not enough to get you where you need to be tomorrow. You must constantly reinvent yourself, and reinvention is education. Unfortunately, graduation traditionally signals the end of education. Regardless of your graduating age, adulthood begins. The party is over and real life begins. To cease learning at graduation is wealth suicide. Or also maybe we can substitute wealth, the word wealth suicide with financial suicide as well. Since as far as I can recall from the book, yes, Rich Dad and Poor Dad, it matters vitally to have to gain financial literacy in order to make yourself financially free from the rat race, from the 8 to 5 corporate servitude. Yes. So you must. The party is over and real life begins. To cease learning at graduation is wealth suicide. Your most effective earning years happens after graduation. I am not sure if I bought myself a pirated version or an authentic version, since I begin to sense more ambiguity here. I thought the author here meant to say your most effective learning years happen after graduation, but instead, in this printed book, on this page, it really prints earning instead of learning. So just let me show you. Not sure if you guys can see it, but that's the truth. I beg your pardon for the blurry imageries captured by my laptop's webcam, but it's just that I currently don't have the funds to purchase myself a decent webcam for my laptop. So every time I wish to film, a single filming session that exceeds 29 minutes and 59 seconds. I'll have to use my laptop attached to this webcam to film it, so that I don't have to trim and cut and in other words, it saves me tons of time and hard work if I can just use my laptop and the webcam to film a video. So I beg your pardon if this video really seems like a poor quality junk to you guys out there. So yeah, but let's resume. So it's gonna be a quite long chapter here. So Jim Golather. It's apparently a German name. Jim Golather graduated 11 years ago and is unemployed. Jim is a stockbroker, but because of internet technology, his expertise has become endangered and flirts with extinction. Jim's education for that specific job set has become dated and no longer applies to the current world. The world has moved on. If Jim and his education had not, Jim contemptuously takes a manual sales job at a local furniture store. His financial plan stalls because he operates with the same stale oil last changed 11 years ago. Jim fails to change his oil, so Jim's road trip to wealth also fails. Yeah, so whatever occupation you are currently working at in order to earn yourself a living, always keep it in mind. Keep that in mind. Always remember to change your oil, or I should say to refresh your knowledge and skills. Even being an entrepreneur, even being a person who wishes, who desires, to complete, withdraw himself from the 9-to-5 system, also from the rat race. But some entrepreneurial undertakings can make you even more attached to the rat race. If you don't have a system, you basically own a job instead of having a job, instead of owning a business system, an effective system that helps you to divorce your income from your life, from your time. Yes? So education, your oil, is a critical component to your wealth road trip. When you continually inject yourself with new education, new skills, and new competencies, new roads open and things run smoothly. The right education has incredible horsepower. Education is virtuous under both slow lane and fast lane roadmaps, but their roads are profoundly different. In the slow lane, education is used to elevate intrinsic value, while in the fast lane, it is used to facilitate and grow the business system the money tree. Yes. In order to have a business system, you need to make sure the money tree you have planted continues to grow with a fairly minimal amount of your own intervention. But still, you need to in a much similar fashion to watering a plant, or to keep the plant, to keep your crops adequately fertilized. You still have some work to do from time to time. Say at least twice, once or twice per week, or several times per month, so to speak. Yeah. Also, fastlane education is secured by methods that do not produce parasitic instead of parasitic. So in American accent, it reads parasitic, but in British it should read, in British Posh it should read parasitic. Also, fastlane education is secured by methods that do not produce parasitic debt or conformity. The purpose of education within the fastlane is to amplify the power of the money tree and the business system. You are not a cog in the wheel. You are not a cog in the wheel. You learn to build the wheel. For example, if I go to a training seminar that gives me skills to hire Top Gun salespeople, I'm engaged in activities that specifically enhance the fertility of my business and my money tree. If I read a book on a new computer technology that illustrates how to create new interactive website features, I'd be learning to facilitate the system. Again, fastlane education is to foster growth of the business system. Conversely, slow lane education is designed to specifically enhance the intrinsic value of the person receiving the education. It is to become a gear in the system. A fastlane forum user had an opportunity to pursue an MBA, and he asked if it was worth it. My answer typically would be no. Yeah, so, but this scenario was different. First, the MBA had no money cost, only time cost, as the government was paying for it. Second, this gentleman espoused the fastlane ideology, so his purpose was not intrinsic value elevation, but expansion of his knowledge to facilitate the fastlane system. I voted yes. So even if you plan to return to a uni or college, to attempt or even reattempt, your previously interrupted or failed degree of study, make sure that it adds bricks to the system. Make sure accelerates your trip to the fastlane, to your fastlane dreams, or at least in case you happen to have already been traveling on the fastlane or through the fastlane. Make sure such undertaking keeps you glued to the fastlane, so that you do not deviate from the fastlane and then turn to the slow lane, and then your whole plan, your whole grand undertaking gets squandered, even ruined, if not just slightly sidetracked. Yeah. So just please give me a sec to switch to another music here, so that I don't have to add the music afterwards, so that I don't actually have to edit this video afterwards. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, next we have I don't know how. If an oil change puts your car on lift for months or years, what's the point? Your continued education must not come laden with conformity or parasitic debt, but must facilitate your fastlane system. How? Make the real world your university. Yes, you are your own university. Actually, yeah, this I suppose part of what I've been doing, pretty much agrees with the author here is trying to propagate. but the difference is, I failed to keep myself fully devoted to fully focused on the tasks I have on hand. Maybe I should stop laying all the blames on my current illnesses and infirmities, but it's really taking its toll, So always, make sure that whenever you have some time, just make sure that you spend your time wisely, spend your energy and time wisely. Instead of fapping, instead of jerking off to porno, instead of indulging in those wild and nasty fantasies about female human individuals' corporeal flesh. Read and learn. Keep reading, keep learning, keep sharpening. Your tongue, your skills. Not just skills in a trade occupation, but also your mind, the way you speak. Make sure. That's assuming if you also happen to stutter like I do. Yes, I used to stutter like a dude. At a spelling bees full of stutterers. So like a dude at a spelling bee contest full of stutterers. But maybe now I don't stutter now as much. I'm still making sure that I at least produce a video at least once per day or thrice. That says three times per 2 days. So if I happen to have skipped one day without making any video, then I will just make sure that I patch it up on the following day by making 2 videos or even 3. No matter how lousy or how clumsy I find my speech and and how awkward I find my speech to be during that particular filming session. Yes, but maybe such strategy might not fit your routine for the time being. In case you happen to have been suffering from severe stuttering, then I highly suggest that you continue to read. Starting from the Bible. It does not have to be a KJV's Bible. You can get started with reading, a New Living Translation Bible. But before you do so, make sure that you don't, so-called overread it, since the New Living Translation still has copyright protection, which means if you release too much of its contents exceeding 10%, your video might get taken down, might get deleted by YouTube, even without any prior warnings. I made some highly similar mistakes in the past. I used to be reading another book about self-help, self-enrichment, called the magic of thinking big. Yes, In fact, one of my mentors, or I should say, one of the lecturers at uni, actually recommended such book to me, and then I tried making video while I read it, but those videos all got taken down by YouTube. Just after fewer than a couple of days, almost instantly after I uploaded the video. So yes, those hard work kind of just went down in flames or in vain. So take note. Yeah. So drink some water. I might not be able to finish this chapter in this filming session, but I'll see how much or how far I can go. Yeah. So ask any successful entrepreneur, and they will validate this truth. You learn from engagement, from doing, and from getting out and taking repeated action, more so than from any book or professor. But I don't know how. You cry. Oh, stop. Public enemy number one on the most used excuses list is, I don't know how. Well, why don't you know how? I'll tell you why. You don't know because you haven't taught yourself how, nor have you wanted to know how badly enough. You see, it is easier to relent under the weight of I don't know how than it is to actively pursue the knowledge. In today's information society, there is absolutely no excuse not to find out how. Well, yes, there are plenty of ways to find out and to know how. Such as you can know how by watching a YouTube video, and exactly like the one, or maybe almost exactly like the one I am currently making now. So you'll find plenty of them, though due to YouTube's so-called lady algorithm. But I rather prefer to call it whore or harlot algorithm. Keeps promoting those those videos that feature some gorgeous looking female human individuals without much insightful content. Then dudes like me, and average Joe, reading a book or filming a video while he rants or vents, in response to all the harshness or the unfair treatment he suffered from in his life. Yeah, so I don't know, but another video of mine titled "Life Has Become an Attrition." Somehow quite mysteriously and somewhat miraculously got recommended by YouTube. To even to many of my non-subscribers YouTube homepage. Well, that encouraged me quite a bit, to push ahead with my life, even not just with content creation on YouTube, but also some other aspects of my life, such as trying to work my way, trying to work my angles, to launch my next Exodus mission / adventure, and some other shite, such as trying to remain patient, trying to learn to hold my horses. whenever some other shit hit the fan, whenever some other people falsely accuse me or whatnot, but so overall, yes, it can still make a difference, though not much if you keep trying. But always keep in mind that we all need to attune, to adjust, to alter, the strategies, the tactics we use in order to impress our audiences. In order to build ourselves a fairly popular, fairly informative channel, or a fairly popular, fairly fortified establishment on YouTube, we all need to catch our audiences / viewers' attention, for a fairly adequate amount of time. Yes, and knowing how plays a vital role in ensuring the tide does turn to our favor. Yes. Begin to get sidetracked again. So let's resume. I graduated from college with 2 business degrees, marketing and finance. Neither of them was related to computer science. I graduated with no computer programming experience, yet I made my millions on the internet. After 13 years of expensive institutional education, I never took a formal class about the internet or web technologies. Heck, my computer classes were limited to introductory business courses. If I didn't go to school to learn the internet, how the heck did I learn and become educated within this skill set? I sought to change my oil frequently. I educated myself. I read books. I hit the library. I spent hours on the web and read articles, tutorials, wikis. I sought and consumed knowledge. Years ago, when I started my career with internet media, I could have easily quit and leaned on the obvious. I don't know how. I don't know how to program a website. I don't know how to design graphics. I don't know how to manage the server. I don't know how to write marketing copy. These excuses are like a plastic bag ready to sunburn. Let me check another book. How do I pronounce this one? Got another word that I don't know how to pronounce. SMOTH. Smother. To kill someone by covering the face so that they cannot breathe. Okay. So then it can also mean to stop a fire from burning by covering it with something that prevents air from reaching. So to extinguish can also have some synonymous meanings with this verb. Smother. That's American accent. Smother. That's British posh. Or the received pronunciation. So these excuses are like a plastic bag ready to smother your dreams. That means to kill your dreams, to extinguish your dreams, to annihilate your dreams from their existence. But only if you stick your head in the bag. Instead, my vision of the website didn't end with I don't know how, but started there. So get your head out of the bag. Had I not refreshed my skills, my oil, my journey would have stalled. My religious pursuit of knowledge kept me efficient in an ever-changing world and primed me for fastlane opportunities. Education didn't end with graduation. It started. And best of all, my self-taught education was a twin turbo acceleration into the fastlane. My skills didn't come loaded with parasitic debt or conformity. Yes, there are plenty of parasitic debt, so keep yourselves far away from those parasitic debt. Yes, there are. According to these authentic gurus, there are some debts that can actually, that can actually benefit you than it can hurt you. But I have not yet verified such thing with some hands-on practices yet. So for now, regarding such thing, I shall perceive it as a mere theory lying in the air or floating in the air or in a vacuum space. AKA, I shall reserve my judgment regarding such thing for the moment. So yeah, education is freely available. The greatest travesty of the free world is the underuse of knowledge. Walk into your local bookstore and inhale. Smell that. That's the smell of infinite knowledge. Walk into your local library and look around. Amazing. Wall-to-wall books, free for the taking. Imagine if you could digest every book, every paragraph, and every sentence. Would I don't know, be a detriment to your success? I'm astonished that education is freely available, yet most choose not to take it. Education is unplucked fruit from a tree, and all it needs is a ladder. Yet most people cling to the limiting belief that I can't afford education. Sorry, but it's an excuse to be lazy. Definitely. Just try to recall how much time we spent. How much time we spent on fapping. How much time we spent derping around and playing video games. But yeah, nowadays I just find myself too exhausted to play any video games. Except the game Kiss of War. Yes, from time to time, quite frequently, I still play it. Whenever I go to shake my hands whenever I go and shake my hands with the president. And whenever I take a dump, yes, still playing that game of simping in the virtual part of the Matrix pretty much occupies most of my time spent, on the toilet. So yeah, I really should cut that. Make sure you also do likewise. Yeah, I know it's always easier said than done, but there's certainly no harm in trying. So next we have education is free for your consumption. Infinite knowledge is at your fingertips, and the only thing preventing you from getting it is you. Yes, you. Turn off the TV. Pick up a book and read it. Quit playing Guitar Hero and hit the library. Quit playing Game Boy Grab Ass and hit the books. A committed fastlaner has his note in a book weekly. He attends seminars. He trolls business forums. He is on Google, searching different topics and strategies. Well, speaking of Google, I do also, from time to time, in particular, moments before I go to bed to hibernate, I also kind of dip around on Google by searching some mumbo jumbles on Google, like how to grab ass, how does Spanish and Portuguese understand one another, and blah blah blah, and how also some other search terms, like how do I know if I have depression, and how much of an asshole am I? Quick quizzes like that. Am I a Protestant or an Orthodox Christian? Blah blah blah. So stop that. Stop playing grab ass with Google. Stop derping on the internet, but instead use the internet as the tool to gather and assimilate knowledge and skill sets. So maybe let me just finish this page, and we can call it a day for now, because my throat gets so dry and so hurting now. You have the innate power to become an expert at anything not requiring physical talent. Anything. No book in the world can make me a professional basketball player or a professional singer, but books can transfigure novices to experts in non-physical disciplines. You can become a currency trading expert, real estate, business, web programming, sales, a public speaker. The expertise for any discipline not requiring physical coordination is out there. What does it take? Your commitment of pursuit, and then the belief, applying it. Yes, there's another book that I came across on the internet. It's about how to make effective cold calls. It's called the lessons learned from 10,000 or 100,000 cold calls. But I haven't actually got the time to read it through. So I must find some other time to make sure that I assimilate the techniques detailed in that book. Sooner or later, or just die trying. Die having that great find squandered. So when I remodeled my house, the walls of my grand there's another word I don't know. Foyer, is it? To show you guys the word I just looked up. Foyer. Okay. Foyer. In American it's foyer. But in British accent, British Posh accent, it's pronounced foyer. A large open area just inside the entrance of a public building, such as a theater or a hotel, where people can wait and meet each other. Okay. Foyer. Open area. Foyer. I'll see you downstairs in the foyer in half an hour. US, UK, 4. The room in a house or apartment leading from the front door to other rooms, where things like coats and hats are kept. So it sounds like a hotel lobby or something highly similar. But I haven't been to America So I don't know. Let's resume. When I remodeled my house, the walls of my grand foyer needed to be fox painted. There's another word here, fox. This fox, it looks more like a French word than it looks like an English word. Faux. Okay. Friends or foe? Are we friends or foe?
Foe.
Not real, but make you look foreseeable. Faux, yeah, faux prickle. I get it. Imitation. When I remodeled my house, the walls of my grand foyer needed to be faux painted. Faux finishing is a complicated painting technique that's used to create lavish surfaces with depth and luminescence. Luminescence, is it? Luminous. I can't find the word. Luminescence, is it? Luminance or luminescence? Maybe it's another luminance. It's luminance or luminescence. Luminance or luminance or luminescence. Luminosity versus luminescence. What's the difference? It's funny that I have to check Wikipedia to look out the word. Luminance is a photometric measure of luminous intensity in an area light traveling in a given direction. I get it. That's why it's complicated. Okay, so I had two choices: call a professional or learn to do it myself. Since I was retired, I viewed this as a fun challenge, so I opted to do it myself. I hit the internet and watched a few hours of video tutorials. Then I hit the Home Depot. I beg your pardon for my poor English. Depot. I forgot. Depot. I hit the internet and watched a few hours of video tutorials. And I hit the Home Depot and bought supplies. Over the next several years, I practiced on cardboard boxes. Within a week, I became proficient at faux painting. I built myself a skill in 1 week. Days earlier, I was in the sphere of I don't know how, and days later, I possessed a new skill that I could aptly sell if I wanted. The best faux painters earn $10 per square foot. In 1 week, I built myself a skill that opened a tiny road into the fastlane equation. Skills and expertise are waiting just for you. No one drops a book on your lap and gives knowledge. You have to seek it, process it, and then use it. The acquisition and application of knowledge will make you rich. So where do you find infinite knowledge inexpensively? Like the air you breathe. It's all around you, like an apple tree waiting to be plucked. Bookstores possess the greatest return for your educational dollar. Buy them, borrow them, or steal them. Just read them. Yeah, I'm still stealing them. Well, if you downloaded some pirated versions, that can count stealing. Probably, but yes, well, next we have the Bible, the greatest free repository of knowledge and the disabler of the I can't afford to buy books excuse. I got my start at the library. The internet forums, find like-minded congregations and learn from those who have succeeded. Find tailwinds. Internet classes can be pricey but convenient. This chapter. So, yes, like I mentioned before, it costs you next to nothing if you buy some second-handed books, especially some second-handed best-selling books, like the one I'm reading and giving you guys my reviews on the millionaire fastlane. I bought this one second-handed from the it cost me just around $15. Australian dollars in total. Yeah, I don't quite remember the exact cost. I'll have to go back and check the receipt. Yeah. But now I just don't have the time. But in any regard, let's finish this page and then we can call it a day. Internet blogs /podcasts/screencasts/webcasts. Another excuse destroyer. Seminars. Good seminars bring good value, assuming they are sponsored by the right entities and not get rich quick gurus. Television, cable TV, yeah. Telly. What's wrong with your telly? Television, cable TV has turned television education, deviates from the mindless reality of garbage and tune into channels with educational value. History, discovery, science, HGTV, military, and National Geographic. Yeah, I love watching, science and discovery related programs, back then. But nowadays, I wish I could have more time so that I can watch more often. Life isn't always, life isn't that much forgiving, unfortunately. So next we have free continuing education classes offered mostly by community colleges. These classes offer a wide array of formal training in specific disciplines. Free magazines, there are plenty. I gathered a lot of them, while I was traveling in Japan. Whenever I can make some other time, specifically, to read them aloud and give you guys my reviews on them. I shall do it, so stay tuned. Free magazines. Visit tradepub.com and freebizmag.com and sign up for free magazine subscriptions pertaining to your topic of interest. Unfortunately, while infinite knowledge surrounds us, most people ignore it. Take, for example, this comment about education from successful real estate investor Lonnie Shrugs.net. I used to work 2 jobs. Education changed my life. Before I learned how to put my money to work, I was doing all the work. I was so uneducated back then that I thought the answer to financial freedom was working 2 jobs, and that's what I did for many years. Finally, I realized there weren't enough hours in a day, and I couldn't work enough hours in a month to reach financial security. There had to be a better way. I started looking for that way. When I realized that education and knowledge was the answer, I made up my mind to get an education. Before that, all I had was something schooling. Now I realized I needed some education. Truth be told. Now I can look back and see that I didn't do all the easy and fun things like many people would do, but I did all the right things. And today, we enjoy financial security and financial freedom. We can do what we want. Many of our friends are still working jobs, searching for financial security that they will never know. They had the same chance to make choices that I had. They just made the wrong choices. They all had schooling, but they didn't have the necessary education that provides financial freedom. Now they tell me how lucky we are. Nah, it's not lucky. It's not about luck, you know. Well, it's mostly not about luck, but still, there are some times when we come across, you know, the fans that got so hard hit by piles of strikes. But still, you know, luck does not always have that vital part to play, you know. So yeah, the best investment you can make is in yourself. So be willing to pay for your education now, or be prepared to pay a much bigger price for your lack of education later. The choices you make today will determine your financial future. Be sure you make the right choice, because you will have to live with the results of that choice, or the repercussions. Okay guys, this chapter still has 1, 2, 3, 4 pages left. So I really have to call it a day. So overall, I hope you have enjoyed this book club video, in which I give you guys my utmost best review and thoughts about it. So I hope I can see you guys next time. If God still will, yeah. So take care, stay safe, stay put, remain steadfast and have faith. And hold the line if you can. Continue to hold the line. Try not to commit suicide. You know, that's why I said try to continue holding the line, because you are not the only dog in this fight. You know, I would like to see every man, you know, succeed in their lives, with their lives. So be of good cheer. You know, in this world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, because for I have overcome the world. John chapter 16 verse 36 or 38. I don't remember the verse. So you see, I keep forgetting things. I'm not sure about you, but yes, John chapter 16 verse 33. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Amen. So thank you very much again for your precious time, and thank you very much for stopping by this video and bearing with me for so long. I wish nothing but the best for all you guys out there, you know. Yeah, so take care and stay safe. Amen. Until next time, God bless. Au revoir.